Shamai, I can't hear a thing. I'm going to have to take these out. Oh, that's better. Right, I can hear things now. Okay, I'm going to do a little review of these today, which is the Xvive U4 in-ear wireless monitor system. I need to turn all of these off because, as you're going to see in a minute, I've been having lots of fun with these today and giving them a good try out. I have had these a little while, and I must say, big thank you to Xvive for sending me these. It's not even the first thing they've sent, because I've also been using this today, which is their wireless guitar system as well. So I haven't even had to plug cables in. And something else that they did send me a little while ago are these, which is the Xvive T9 in-ear monitors. These are the actual things that I'm going to be listening through today. So what is the Xvive U4? Well, it is basically a wireless transmitter so that I can hear what is going on directly out of a sound source. What does it come with? Okay, so you've got this. This is the transmitter. This is the bit that actually plugs into a PA mixer or an amp. I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Or in fact, anything that can produce a sound source that has an XLR or indeed a TLR input. Okay, now then, let me just talk about what comes in the box because it'll be a little bit more obvious then. So you've got your transmitter, you have got an adapter so that you can plug this into various things. You've got the receiver. Now then, I've got to say, these really do feel quite chunky, okay? Nice and heavy quality, all right? So what happens is you keep hold of the receiver, you then can plug your in-ear monitors. As I said, I'm using the Xvive T9s, all right? If you haven't already seen that review, go and check them out. But it's just got a normal little TLR 3.5mm jack there. So you could plug any headphones into these. So I've got my headphones. And I would simply clip that into my pocket and pull it back out because you can't see it. Okay, and then this goes into your sound source. So before we get into the whys, let's just have a little look at some of the specs and what it does for a minute. £179 from Anderton's Music, £179 from Amazon, £239 from Gear for Music, so it is definitely worth shopping about. Okay, so what do they do? Well, basically they get rid of the need for certain things so that you can monitor personally. Right, let's just explain. Ukumaniacs, our ukulele group, our setup, we have 4 speakers. We have 2 main PA speakers which face forwards that the audience can hear, and then we have 2 what you call monitor speakers which face back towards the band. The idea is hopefully, or eventually anyway, we can replace certain things with little devices like this. So if we all had these, and there's 4 of us in the band, we could in theory get rid of our 2 large monitor speakers and be able to hear what we're playing through these. And of course, by using wireless transmitters with our instruments as well, we can get rid of a load of cabling, and we're already doing that. But this is why we're also looking into the in-ear monitor systems. So I just said we are looking into these as a group. These actually come in different sets and different combinations. This is the plain old Xvive U4 wireless in-ear monitor system. And it comes with these 2 bits, which is of course the transmitter and the receiver. Okay, but it is possible to get a set that already has these, the T9 actual in-ear monitors in a system. They sell a set which has 4 of these plus 1 transmitter. So this is where Ukumaniacs, if we can get this to work reliably, we are certainly considering going down that route. So before I demonstrate them actually being used, some of the specs, and I'll put the proper in-depth specs up on the screen in a minute. 5-hour battery life before they have to be recharged. They do have little USB inputs by there, and that's something else that comes in the box, is you get USB charger, which has got 2 and then a single, so that makes it nice and easy to charge them. And also in the box it does come with a little handy bag to put everything in as well. Under 5 milliseconds of latency, so you shouldn't notice any difference between what you're playing and what you're hearing. It's got a 90-foot range. That's quite a large stage, all right? I would, though, make sure that you don't have anything in between you that might interfere with the signal. So I've been using the actual in-ear monitors a little while, but as I said, when I had these, it's the first time I've really used systems like this. I have used monitor systems on stage, whether it be speakers or the sort of the clip-on over-ear monitors, which are dreadful because you can't hear them properly, or in recording studios using proper over-the-head noise-cancelling headphones, but it has been really interesting trying this out. But I'm not that interested in all the real numbers and things, so if you are, here are the full specs now. Right, so how do these work? As I said, I've been messing about this afternoon, so let's take a little look at the PA to start with. So the transmitter goes into either the XLR output, normally on the back or on top of a mixer, or one of the other outputs using the TLR adapter. There are different ways of getting them through auxiliary sends, for example, on the mixer. That's not something I have tried out yet, but I am going to look at that in the future, definitely. So I'd then get my receiver, clip it onto my trousers, onto my jeans, like that, and then I sneakily put my in-ear monitors at the back of my t-shirt, out the top of my neck, and wearing them so they were really quite discreet. But it meant it all felt really, really secure, and I could hear it all brilliantly as well. And then because I was using the wireless transmitter system, this was just plugged in to the one of the normal inputs on the mixer. So I did mention speakers as well. Now normally you would have cables going from your mixer output into your PA speakers, and very often those speakers have an output on those. It might be because you're daisy chaining into monitor speakers, but basically you can plug this transmitter into a PA speaker as well. I haven't done it today because I didn't have the speaker out, but I did try this a couple of weeks ago and it works really well too. So it just gives you another option of where you can plug your transmitter. So something I hadn't thought about until today was plugging this into one of my bass amps. So I put the transmitter into the XLR DI out of my little Warwick Gnome amp, and it worked brilliantly. Now in this case, of course, you can actually hear me playing because the amp is still plugged into the cab. But I really couldn't hear the cab because of the noise cancelling element of the in-ear monitors. So in fact, there is my little Warwick Gnome amp, tiny. Imagine, all right, you plug this, the transmitter, into the back, the XLR by there, all right? That's all I need. I need to power this, but I don't actually need to plug that into a cab. I can use this, that, practice silently, and that would be brilliant for travel. So the U4 system works great with a PA and a mixer. It works great with a bass amp as well, but I just want to run through a few pros and cons. So some of the pros, getting rid of speakers and cables, all right? Hopefully in the future, we may not have to lug around big monitor speakers because we can all use these, all right? And believe you me, when you get into my age, the less you've got to carry around, the better. I think the actual sound of these is really, really good. Really, really clear. I'm sure it probably does make a difference what actual in-ear monitors that you're using, all right? But when I've used this with the PA working, I could hear things really, really clearly. It's really, really easy to use, I promise you. You've got a volume control on the receiver, and you've got a channel selector. And then on this side, you've got your channel selector in the middle, which goes round and round. You've got a power on and off, and you've got an auxiliary or a line selector. Don't worry too much about that. It's for different mixes, but basically with the line selector, you're going to get a louder signal through, and the auxiliary, you're going to get less of a signal through. You can practice silently with them, which is a great way, especially me as a bass player, not disturbing other people, and they are relatively cheap, okay? Yes, you can get way more expensive and probably a bit cheaper than this as well, all right? But I would say for what you're getting, I would call this relatively cheap. Some of the cons, now if you're playing in lots of different venues, you may find interference. I suppose if you're always going to the same place and you know it works, great. But I can also imagine you turning up to a venue and maybe there's some interference with other wireless equipment. Something which I really didn't think about, say now I am playing a gig and I'm using my little bass amp as a monitor. I say little bass amp, it's normally something about 200 or 300 watts as a monitor. That means you can feel the sound as well. I know it sounds a bit weird, but you can definitely feel the bass coming through, pushing air. You miss out on that with these. I'm pretty sure there are ways that you can get around it and go and buy extra devices and things to feel, but I'm not worrying about that. It's just something to be aware of. You don't feel the bass when you're playing it. So thank you Xvive for sending me out the U4 wireless in-ear monitor system. Apart from it being great fun, it has been really interesting and really useful, and I know we are seriously considering swapping these now in the band. I do hope you guys have found this useful and interesting today as well. As always though, if you've got any comments or questions, please feel free, leave them below. Give us a like if you've enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.